Got this little aluminum project that I don't even know what it is. It's a mount. I don't think it would be good and strong if I did that, so what I'm going to match up pretty good around there.
Aluminum TIG weld job broken bracket repair season 2 episode 5 or 20.
What's going on, everybody? Chris Wojnarski here. May 29th. We're back again. Today's a Wednesday, and we are got this little aluminum project that I don't even know what it is. It's a mount for something, it looks like, but it's cracked right here, and this piece cracked off right there, and it's kind of bent, but it's for a local township, I think, or something, but they didn't say nothing about bending it back. I don't know if it's supposed to be that bent like that, but they just wanted this fixed, and a piece of flat bar going right on top like that, and a piece of flat bar going like that, just for a little support.
Now, I didn't talk to the customer, but for some reason they were dead set on putting those little support things on the top like that. I don't really know why, but they wanted it for some reason. I would have done it a little differently, but just had to do it for them.
So, what I'm thinking, I already stuck it in the sandblaster and sandblasted all this off. Got a lot of it off. It's like some rubber, like epoxy, like right inside there. I don't know what that is. But what I'm thinking, this one I could probably just, I'm going to put it in the press first, try flattening it. And then after that, I'm going to try beveling that a little. And I could probably get that out. And I don't know if that's a little crack right up here. I might just put a little grind on there and bevel that a little and go over that. And then I'll trace this out like this with a marker. And I don't think it'll be good to bevel this thing around this to, I don't think it'll be good and strong if I did that. So what I'm going to do is probably just chop it like that and just make a new piece of flat bar. I found a piece of 3/8 aluminum flat bar in the scrap. That'll work. So that'll work for that. And yeah, I'll trace it out and we'll get to work. First I'll press it, trace it, grind it, and we'll go from there. A big press that we got, I don't know if I'll use that or this little guy over here, but we'll see what goes on. Sometimes I could get it with this little guy. This thing, just these plates are kind of heavy and a pain to move around sometimes. Got a little bend right up here, so I'll just press that out. And I want to get this out just to make it flat. See that?
As you can see, those big steel plates are kind of a pain to move sometimes, but the press works really good actually most of the time. And it got 2 different pistons on there. That smaller one to the left actually helps hold the part down like that, where you don't got to clamp it down from it popping up, and then you can press it to the right. And I think we got it pretty good right there. So tweaked it pretty good.
Alright, did a couple more presses after I put this down, so sorry I let you guys miss that, but I got that pretty good. One thing, if you're pressing like that, especially in aluminum, you got to be careful you don't get anything dirty, and it sometimes leaves creases in there if you have like dirty old bars and stuff. So just be careful with that. This piece don't matter. It's just a simple repair. But that's it. Alright, so now we're gonna trace it. Trace my little piece out. I got a piece of cardboard. It's just a little reference thing just to know where to put stuff back. So that's what I want to get to, is just that hole right up there. Make sure I got a good measurement for that. And I think we're pretty good. Because this is going to have to be, I think, milled out a little, just left and right. So like this is slotted, and I think that's a little slot like that instead of a big hole. So that's that. Alright. One thing is just say 1140.
Write it down up here. Start time.
So what I'm going to do is find a measurement where I want to cut it at. So I think I already did 2 inches, so I'll just measure from about right there, measure over 2, then I'll draw a straight line down with a square. A little straighter, I'm not as close to that inside corner. So I'll probably just do about, I don't know, 1 3/4 maybe. 1 3/4. Draw my straight line down. Yeah, that's a little better. That way I'm not close to that inside corner right there. Got a little better to keep me straight. So that'll be good.
Alright, got my flat bar. I'm going to start tracing out my piece where I want to cut it. Now I'm going to bring it to the edge over here. That way I utilize the least amount of material as possible, put it together, and kind of start tracing it. You can see how it's up on an angle, so that bottom piece I want to put a little shim on the bottom to level it out. And you can see that I got a nice little shim pile going on here, kind of overcrowded, but these shims come in pretty good handy, and they're not just shims. Maybe I'll do a video on it. They're clamps, backer bars, and whatnot else. But they come in handy, like little spacer blocks on the bottom, 4x4 square tubing. Just a little bit of everything that comes in handy quite often. Maybe I'll do a video on it in the future, like I said. And that's about it. So I'll go back, I'll put my piece right on at the top. That way I have a nice straight line and trace it out, and should be ready to start cutting.
Get all that stuff out, round that corner and draw that, cut it right there, and that should be good. And I'll probably just do all this first while it's big, piece like this.
Here's where it's nice to have a shear and a notcher. Pays off a lot, so I'll notch that little piece out, notch the corners because then I'm going to round them afterwards. Then I'll drill that hole, which I probably should have drilled the hole first, but whatever. And take it over to the grinder, and I'll probably start clamping it down and rounding it.
Sometimes I'll use a different wheel, but that white rock wheel to clean this up, but I'm pretty close right here, so that should be good.
Not much to it, just try to do my best to keep it perfectly round if I can, or the rounder the better, and do both sides and make it look presentable.
There's that. Just gotta chop it and drill my hole. Now I want to chop this right now.
Alright, try to speed some stuff up for you guys. I'm not sure if you guys like the longer videos and be able to see everything, or if you like the shorter ones with most of this stuff out of it. Leave it in the comments if you want, but I'm cutting this on a bandsaw or porter band because the notcher kind of just rounds the corners a little bit, where I like this a little better. Now I'm going to start grinding it and deburring it, and I'll put a little bevel on both sides of it, so that'll work pretty good. And I'll get good full penetration after I grind it down. And I'm going to do this other side while I'm here working on that other little spot, and I'll just grind it.
Alright, so I got a nice bevel up here already on both sides, front and back, and I ground down a little bit just to make my weld areas clean. Same thing over here. Now I'll just take this little white rock thing and grind a little bevel in there. And the inside's going to be a little hard to get to, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I might just try putting a weld in there and then grind it down or something. We'll see.
Just do my best right now to go in at it and kind of get a good little bevel all the way around if I can. Best thing would have been to redo the part on that section too, but that's not what they wanted to do.
It should be good for that. Ground in a little bit up there, over there, and I think that's it. Alright, I'll drill my hole, and then I'll cut that and bevel it, and we should be close. I don't know who left a mess up here, but it's pretty messy and oily. leaving an oil brush.
I don't know, I probably have OCD or something, but usually when I'm done working on something, I like to clean up and have a nice fresh work area when I'm done with that and put stuff back like that drill bit. Now I'm looking for a center punch, not that one, a different one. I couldn't find that, but this will work. And start with about a 3/8 hole, drill a little hole about that size, then I'll bump it up to a 1/2 inch hole, and then I'm going to just stick that end mill, 1/2 inch end mill in there and mill a little slot. Technically you shouldn't use an end mill in a drill chuck like that, but that was an old chuck that we had. We got a new one now that we don't do it with, but just made it a little easy. I'm only drilling like a 1/16 of an inch slot, maybe a little bit more each way, and it should be pretty good.
Got a little walled out, which should be pretty good like that.
Just cleaning up a little bit, brushing off the table, and putting the bit away.
So I slotted that a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll chop that, and then I'll bevel it, and then we're good to go.
Quick little cut on the bandsaw, and we should be ready for that part. That bandsaw is a power horse right there. If you don't have a good metal cutting source, a bandsaw with fluid works really good. Ready to start beveling this. You can see I used that one vice grip with the circle grips, whatever you want to call them, little pad eyes, and it didn't grip it that good, so now I had to switch over to the plain one, and it gripped it a little better. Flip it over, bevel a little bit more, deburr it with the flapper wheel.
Fellers and ladies, we're back. I took a lunch and I cut my flat bars, so I didn't really do anything, but I checked with Charles. And these pieces, the customer wanted them like that. I have no clue what they're doing, but the guy will think that he thinks they're stronger. If anything, I think that should have went like that afterwards. And this, I really don't know, but we'll do it for him.
We went back, double checked with the customer, and I don't know, for some reason, offered a couple different ways of doing it, but they insisted on having those little supporter pieces like that, so that's how it'll be.
I got this, I'm gonna weld that on there, and then I'll weld both sides, grind it down. Same thing with that, grind that down, and I'll put these pieces on after. So, pretty simple, get to it. So I wish I would have drew this little outline on the table too, but there's all the holes in the table, which makes it a little harder. But this was up to the top, flush to the top. Looks like I made this a little bit too wide, so I might just take a little and trim a little bit off really fast, and then I'll put that on. I could do it after. But I'll also draw a straight line like that to help me line it up. So something like that. But with that like that, if I have just a straight edge like this, like a piece of angle or something, clamp that down, that should be perfectly fine. I'm pretty lined up with my little square, and I drew how it would be flush like that, and I'm just gonna probably take that little grinder and trim off that little bit really fast. Alright, so I trimmed it down, put that up like that, and that's pretty good. I'm a little tilted a little differently, but it'll be like that, up like that, and that should be pretty good.
That's too much start time, so just say 45, 145, but about 20 minutes in before. Alright.
Alright, fixture table is not needed for this. Just clamp the part down, use that angle as a stopper block, and clamp that little piece
my
down.
straight edge up on top, so I took the angle, and I clamped that down, clamped this down, and butted that up. So I got my straight edge. That should be pretty good. Now tack that. I might have to move that clamp over a little. Put some tacks on it, flip it, tack it, and then I'll start welding it. Get my machine set up. Just switch it to 2, and that's my whole aluminum setup. All I got to do is really adjust that, and if I want to fine tune something else.
Alright, really simple. Just tack each end, and I'll put one tack in the middle, and now I'm going to flip it over and double check it on that cardboard, make sure it matches up, which looks like it did. Now I'm going to clamp the other end and probably tack 2 tacks on that side or just one in the middle. Then I'll put a weld on that, and I might do a couple passes on that because I'm going to grind it off. I'll rather overfill it and grind it down than have to come back and re-weld it if I missed a little spot. So now I've welded that one end, flipped it, put a little pass on this end. Pretty simple, just putting more weld than I need to on it because it's going to get ground off, so it doesn't have to look pretty or anything. So quick little couple passes on it.
So we got it welded up there all the way around. We pretty much got 100% penetration on that. And then this I got pretty good. I cleaned that up a little before, I think off camera, the inside. Got all the way around that. That's good. Alright, time to grind that down and add our pieces on.
Use that white rock first to grind it all down, mostly to about flush, maybe a little bit over, and then I'll switch over to a flapper wheel and just smooth everything out.
I'm just going to take a little burr on the inside and groove that out, that little weld. My little burr. Wish it was a aluminum one. This is stainless, so I got to be careful so it don't get clogged up. But it should work for that.
Carbide burrs work really good, so does that Milwaukee 90 grinder, but you should definitely wear safety protection, shield, or glasses.
It looks like somebody, when they did that, ground that out, it was by hand, not with the machine, so it's not perfectly straight.
Now mark out those pieces where I want them to go. Make sure I have enough room to get a washer and a bolt in there, and they don't really got to go in a certain spot, but just mark it down, square it up, get a tack on each corner, and then move over to the next part, clamp that down, and get a tack on each corner of that, and ready to weld.
Alright. Alright, we match up pretty good around there. Maybe put a little paint on it and good to go. Everybody, we're back again tomorrow, future tomorrow, whatever you want to call it. But let the paint dry on this and we're all done. All in all, I have about like 40, 45 minutes maybe, tops. Not too much time in it. And it's pretty flat right here, so that should mount up pretty good. Nice and painted. Got some welds around that. This doesn't make sense, but that's what they wanted. Supposedly the guy thought it made it stronger. But let's check up our fit up. Alright, our fit up's pretty good, I think, for this. We're matching pretty good. Our holes like that, maybe a tad bit bigger, but I think we're pretty good. Not much to it, pretty simple. Hopefully that should be pretty strong. That should be close to about 100% penetration on that piece. And yep, that's it. All right, hopefully it's a little video. Hopefully it's easier to edit and everything. A little something for you guys to watch if you enjoy it. If not, let me know in the comments. And thank you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Wojnarski, over and out. Now another thing is, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but customer didn't ask this to be painted. I just do it as a courtesy, and people usually appreciate it a little more. Just looks a lot better once it's painted like that. It only took like a couple minutes to paint the thing, and not bad. I mean, if it's something big, I probably won't paint it. Something like this, just go the extra mile.
Me from the future, sad or funny thing is, the customer came in a couple months later because the part broke and wanted us to redo it the way that we recommended to do it. So funny how that kind of works. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Instagram where I post more often at Wojnarski. See you on the next one.